In 2023, the Food and Drug Administration finalized an action level for inorganic arsenic in apple juice. The number it settled on was 10 parts per billion, the same limit that applies to drinking water. That sentence tends to land badly, so let me put it in proportion straight away. Arsenic occurs naturally in soil and groundwater everywhere. It also lingers in old orchard land because arsenic-based pesticides were used legally in American fruit growing for decades before they were withdrawn. Apple trees take up a little of it, and a little of it ends up in the juice. Nobody adds it. Most juice on the shelf tests below the limit, but the reason a limit exists at all is that some samples, over years of testing, did not. 7 things in the juice aisle worth understanding, and 3 that genuinely hold up. Number 1 is the one the regulators spent a decade arguing about. But it starts somewhere much simpler, with the word on the front of the bottle. The usual note. Everything here comes from federal labeling rules, published action levels, and pediatric guidance. Where the evidence is contested, I will say so. I am describing regulation and testing, not accusing anyone of a crime. First, the labeling law, because it does more work than anything else here. Only one phrase on a juice label is legally defined in the way you assume. That phrase is 100% juice. Everything else, cocktail, drink, punch, beverage, blend, signals that the bottle contains water, sweetener, and some quantity of actual juice. Federal rules require the percentage of juice to be declared on the label, in small print near the nutrition panel. Sometimes it reads 100%. Sometimes it reads 5%. The front of the bottle looks nearly identical either way. Number 7. The word cocktail, and everything like it. A juice cocktail is water, sugar, or corn syrup, juice concentrate, and usually added vitamin C so the label can advertise it. That vitamin C is added after the fact. It is not evidence of fruit. The tell is the ingredient list. If water appears first, you are buying mostly water. If a sweetener appears in the first 3 ingredients, you are buying a soft drink with fruit flavoring. Neither is a scandal. It is only a problem when it is priced and marketed as juice. Number 6. From concentrate, and where the concentrate comes from. Making concentrate means boiling most of the water out of pressed juice, so it can be shipped and stored cheaply. Then adding water back at the bottling plant. The process is not the issue. Concentrate is stable and efficient, and it is why juice is affordable. The issue is traceability. The large majority of apple juice concentrate used in the United States is imported, and a single tanker may combine fruit from many farms in several countries. By the time it is reconstituted, no one downstream can tell you which orchard any of it came from. Not from concentrate juice is pressed, pasteurized, and bottled without that round trip. It costs more, and the supply chain behind it is shorter. Number 5. Clarified juice, and what filtration removes. Most apple juice on the shelf is clear and pale gold. Getting it that way requires filtration, and often an enzyme treatment first, to strip out the pulp and the compounds that make juice cloudy. Those compounds are largely polyphenols, the antioxidant fraction of the apple. Published comparisons of cloudy and clarified juice from the same fruit consistently find the cloudy version retains substantially more. Clear juice is a choice made for appearance and shelf stability, and it costs you most of the chemistry people think they are drinking juice for. Number 4. The sugar which nobody added. An 8-ounce glass of 100% apple juice contains roughly 24 to 28 grams of sugar. A comparable glass of cola is in the same range. There is no added sugar in that juice. Every gram is fructose and glucose that was already in the apple. But pressing the fruit removes the fiber and the chewing, and the body handles the result far more like a soft drink than like an apple. Whole fruit arrives slowly. Juice arrives all at once. This is why pediatric guidance is as firm as it is. No juice at all before 12 months of age, and no more than 4 ounces a day for toddlers. Not because juice is toxic, because it displaces food and milk, and because it is very easy to drink a great deal of it. Number 3. Patulin, the one almost nobody has heard of. Patulin is a mycotoxin produced by molds that grow on damaged apples. It survives pressing. It is not destroyed by pasteurization. Federal rules set a limit of 50 parts per billion in apple juice, and processors test for it. What makes Patulin useful to understand is what it indicates. High Patulin means bruised, moldy, or ground-fallen fruit went into the press. It is less a poison story than a fruit quality story. A number that quietly reports what the raw material looked like before anyone washed it. Number 2. Juice that was never the fruit on the label. Juice is one of the most adulterated categories in the food supply. For a simple reason. Once fruit is pressed and filtered, one clear, sweet liquid looks very much like another. Cheaper pear or grape juice, or plain sugar syrup, can be blended in and the result still passes for apple. This is not theoretical. In the 1980s, a major American baby food company pleaded guilty to federal charges after selling millions of bottles labeled as apple juice that contained essentially no apple juice at all. It was sugar water, flavoring, and color, sold for infants. Executives went to prison. The industry today runs authenticity testing that did not exist then, using isotope analysis to detect added sugars and foreign juice. It is far harder to get away with now. It is not impossible, and the incentive has never gone away. Number 1. Arsenic, and the decade of argument behind that number. Testing programs through the 2010s found inorganic arsenic in apple juice samples at levels that varied widely, with a minority sitting above what regulators considered acceptable for a product children drink daily. The response took years. The agency proposed 10 parts per billion, gathered data, and finalized it in 2023. Industry testing improved alongside it, and average levels came down. The honest reading is this: the exposure from an occasional glass is small. The concern was always cumulative, and specifically about small children drinking juice every day, because dose is a function of body weight. The limit exists to cap the tail of the distribution, not because the average bottle was dangerous. And as with everything else here, you cannot tell where a bottle sits from looking at it. So how do you actually check a bottle in the 10 seconds you have in the aisle? Read the ingredient list first, not the front. One ingredient, juice, is the standard. Look for the percentage declaration, which is legally required and always there. Prefer cloudy or unfiltered over clear when you have the choice, because that is where the polyphenols survive. Treat not from concentrate as a traceability signal rather than a health claim. And check whether it says pasteurized. Unpasteurized cider can carry E. coli and salmonella. which is precisely why federal rules require untreated juice to carry a warning label. That warning is a genuine one, and it matters most for children, older adults, and anyone with a weakened immune system. Now the three that hold up. First, the whole apple. It is the entire point. Fiber intact, sugar delivered slowly, polyphenols in the skin, no processing decisions made on your behalf. Nothing in the juice aisle improves on it, and it is usually cheaper by weight. Second, cloudy pressed juice with one ingredient on the label. Pasteurized for safety, unfiltered so the polyphenols survive, no sweetener, no blend. It costs more, and it keeps less well, and both facts tell you something true about what is inside. Third, 100% juice cut with water for children. This is the compromise that actually works. Half juice, half water, in a small glass, keeps the taste and halves the sugar load, and it lines up with the 4-ounce guidance instead of fighting it. The pattern across all 7 is the same. Nothing here is poison, and nothing here is a conspiracy. It is processing choices, labeling law, and a supply chain long enough that the bottle cannot tell you what happened upstream. The information you need is legally required to be on the container. It is simply on the side, in small type, while the persuasion is on the front in large